On September 11, 2001, 19 hijackers took control of 4 commercial passenger jets flying out of airports on the east coast of the United States. 2 of the aircraft were deliberately flown into the Twin Towers in New York, with a third hitting the Pentagon in Virginia. The 4th plane never reached its intended target, crashing in Pennsylvania. It is believed that the passengers and crew overpowered the hijackers and took control of the plane. The total loss of life on 9/11 was nearly 3,000 people. A war on terrorism was quickly proclaimed, but 16 years later, what are the results? Andrea Putting with a war on peace? A war on peace, Andrea Putting.
When the war on terror was proclaimed, it sent the world into disarray. Soldiers were sent out to fight against a terrorist, whoever they may be. Countries have been on red alert. There has been suspicion and hate underlying throughout the world. But as I see it, the war on terror, the only outcome has been more terror. And so if this is the case, maybe it's time we declared a war on peace. Certainly, if this is the model, then a war on peace is going to create more peace. You with me here?
Yep.
Good one? Good theory?
Yep.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Great thinkers, metaphysicians and spiritualists all agree that form follows thought. So while we focus on terror, we get terror. However, we cannot create peace with guns and bombs. We cannot create peace by killing people. We cannot create peace by claiming victory over other people. We create peace here. So maybe I need some weapons of mass serenity. The war on peace is really one that rages within us. It's when individuals take ownership of this and find their own inner peace, and then we do that collectively, that we start to find peace in our world. Our thinking, our thoughts and our motives become that of peacefulness, and our world becomes more peaceful. For each of us, our finding our inner peace is different. For some people, thus they can sit for hours and meditate. Now that's not for everyone, and certainly not the place you're going to begin. For others, it might be a simple walk in nature that reconnects you with your soul, and that's where you find your inner peace. But then starting with the simple mindfulness activities is where you can start to get a sense of what that inner peace is about. Who has a colouring book? Yeah, we have a few people claiming that. I have colouring books. I think that when we sit and do something like that, our mind says, oh, that's fine, you're busy, you're doing something. And it can help you to let go and become more peaceful. Calm your mind and get into that more serene state. But for each of us, that finding that something, a mindfulness activity, is going to be different. For some it could be gardening, it could be some craft work, or you could be like my husband, who his mindfulness activity is actually washing the cars. So you know why I have clean car all the time? He was actually doing that tonight when he came home from work, because you can't have a dirty car. As I thought about this, I remembered the story of Sadako Sasaki. She was a little girl who had leukemia as a result of the Hiroshima bombing. Now, a friend told her the Japanese legend that if she folded 1,000 cranes, then you would get your wish. Of course, what she really wanted was to get well so that she could run again. And when she realised that this wasn't going to happen, she kept folding the cranes and she turned her wish to there being peace on earth and unity between all. Now, this became a symbol to the Japanese people of peace. And today, people still make paper cranes as a symbol of peace. So I thought maybe this was a really good symbol for my war on peace. So I need to make some paper cranes. Now, I haven't quite got obsessed yet. I only have some 920 something to go. So I thought tonight I would show you how to make a paper crane, and then maybe amongst all of us we could make 1,000 cranes. Unfortunately, we don't have time to do it. So I hope you'll take up the challenge. You can watch the video again and learn how to do it, or you can go online and get the instructions and learn how to fold a paper crane. And I hope this will be the start of your own personal war on peace. And to finish off, I'd just like to share with you the words of a very popular Christmas song. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. The peace be with you.